It's like saying you cannot. It's like you cannot prevent piracy.
Yeah, you can't. Of course you can't.
That's what it is. And you cannot prevent reselling of.
First of all, let's start with this. Why do founders go for LTD marketplaces? If I am a founder, what is in it for me to go to an AppSumo or a Pitch Ground or a SaaS Zilla or these sorts of marketplaces? Why do founders even consider it?
Instant money.
Instant money.
Yes. Selling something on subscription requires a lot of effort, you can say. It's like, okay, they have to pay $10 or $20 or even $50 every single month. They have to get into that commitment with you. But with LTD, you just pay once, use forever. You just buy it like a chocolate rather an expensive chocolate sometimes. You just buy it, you use it. There's no commitment per se. Easy to sell. That's why I think founders get into LTD in the very first place, to get that instant cash flow to their business.
But you just said it's like a chocolate, but is it not a very expensive proposition if it is like a chocolate? Because you are making like a lifetime commitment. It's like it's like marriage in some ways, right? You don't get married to get divorced, right? So so if it's an MRR customer, it could be like a fling. It's like a booty call, right? The customer is like the business equivalent of a booty call. But with an LTD, you have promised somebody that you're going to serve this person for the rest of their lives or the rest of your life. So how is the LTD customer fundamentally different from the MRR customer? How is this relationship fundamentally different?
So first of all, LTD or lifetime deal, for those who are watching or listening, you can say an LTD customer is different. There are two parts to your question actually. You first asked, okay, you're getting into this lifetime of commitment. Right. LTD is a misconception that it's a lifetime of the customer or the lifetime of the person making the LTD. No, it's a lifetime of the product. If your product or your startup dies down within 3 years, then it's done. The LTD is over.
There's nothing to sell.
Yeah, there's nothing to sell and nobody can do anything. Yeah. Coming to LTD customer, I want you to think of it this way. Let's say Buffer. Buffer is almost $1 billion company. They have huge budgets. They spend, you can say, anywhere between $100,000 to $200,000 a month on ads and still be afloat, still be all right. Now, if you think of it that way, now you are a new SaaS founder, bootstrapping from your backyard, trying to create your own micro SaaS, and you're in the same niche. And Buffer is your competitor. Let's say you're also trying to make a social media management tool, but you want to add AI and all sorts of other things to it. You're sort of in a competition because now people are comparing Buffer versus your tool. What is not there in Buffer that your tool can give? The Buffer also, it's costing me $10. Your tool, you cannot price it less than $10 because that's again, it'll be too less for you to sustain and survive. So what is the edge that you have? Okay, you can get some edge in features, but again, how do you make your offer so good that they cannot ignore you? And that's when an LTD immediately changes the entire game. Now, person usually pays $30 to $40 a month on Buffer. That's like the average. Some people pay $100, etc. And if it's agencies handling their client accounts, they are paying $200, $300, $500 a month just on Buffer because they have 5 clients, 10 clients like that. Now imagine your $500 cost comes to zero, and all I give you is a tool that does similar things to Buffer. Yes, it might not be as polished as Buffer, but it will get the job done. It's a still work in progress. It will still help you get the job done. It will, of course, improve. And now LTD customer is like, wow, for just $100 one-time cost, rather than paying $100 every month, which amounts to $1,200 in a year, I can rather pay $100, get my work done, and remove all these extra. I can save extra $1,100 every year. That's exactly how LTD Dhanda works. Now, coming to your second question, which is LTD customer and your regular customer. LTD customers are more demanding, more of a challenge. Yes, you can acquire them easily. Yes, you can easily make $5,000 to $10,000 in a month, all while you're making zero with your MRR. You can do that. But LTD LTD customers, they are the sort of people who want to use this tool, pay $49 to $100. Some people even pay $1,000 also. There are many people who buy LTDs for $2,000 to $5,000 as well. But they want your product to keep on improving on features, keep on giving out updates, keep on growing. Because they will get into the mindset that I trusted your product, I gave you my money when no one was there. Now you have that responsibility for me. You have the responsibility to serve me. You have to give me all the updates. You have to give me. You have to serve me just like your regular customer. You have to keep me updated on what's happening. I will 100% look at your background, because as a LTD customer, I've been cheated in the past by many other SaaS companies who came in, got the LTD. They shut their company within 6 months. Now I invested $500 and you shut it within 6 months. Now that's not staying with me well. So I will insult you, obviously, because you showed me different dreams and all that. But I will 100% insult you. I will look at your past startups. I will go through your LinkedIn history. I will check the domain history. Yes, if I see that you just started this domain and you're offering LTD on day 10, I will see it as a red flag. So gaining the trust of LTD users is easy. All you have to do is you have to not get angry, because they're going to ask you certain questions. Are you going to shut your startup within 6 months? What is your aim after this LTD? Are you going to do another LTD soon? These are all the questions I have it in my mind, because I faced it day in, day out, all for 3 years straight.
And what are the most common 10 questions that I have got to ask you this? What are the most common 10 questions that LTD customers ask?
First question they want you to know, major question, is what is your plan to sustain the tool? Or do you have any plans for MRR? Or if you have plans for MRR, how are you actually planning to get that MRR? How do I know that you won't shut your startup within one year saying you didn't have enough customers? I want to get that trust on you. So I want you to know your MRR plan. If you can be clear with this question, that's it. LTD customers will trust you.
But these seem like questions that then an investor would ask you. Like, this seems like something that, if I go to like an Indian angel network, or like an angel, it seems like the kind of a question an angel would ask you, or a angel network would ask you. So as a founder, it's not free money, definitely. People paint a very rosy picture of what LTD is like. But from my conversation with you, it is pretty clear to me it's not free money on the table that somebody just pays you. It can lead to, over time, even a damage to your reputation if you don't live up to this promise, because these are alpha users, right? Pretty much.
Absolutely. So yes, I've seen many people getting shamed on public forums just because they couldn't live up to the end of their bargain. They couldn't give what they promised in the start. I think sometimes we can think from a founder's perspective, oh my God, these LTD users, it's not free money and what all it is. But if you think of it, it's like, instead of taking money from an angel, going towards hundreds of people asking for a funding, it's like going to the people and asking for funding.
It's like crowdfunding. It's like crowdfunding, but with a bit of a caveat.
Yeah. That is 100% there. But so it's like these people are your angels investing in you when you don't have any customer. So they 100% are expecting, because they've been through you with all the bugs that you are having. They're giving you all the feedback. They're promoting in their circles. They're buying expensive plans. They also have expectations. Especially, I think what's simple is, you only have to promise what you can deliver. If you can just write this line, all future updates included, you're done. You're done. Because what happens is, with tools such as with generative AI, it costs money to get those API tokens from OpenAI and all that. But you promised 1 year ago that, dude, it's unlimited updates. Now you're like, okay, this is a bit of a hit and miss. You have to be careful like this.
Very, very. And then there are these generative AI tools, often media production tools, that are coming on to AppSumo, and they are promising lifetime updates for like $29. And I'm worried, thinking, boss, this is a video production tool you're offering. How on God's earth are you going to ensure that down the line that you're able to finance this, and you, especially when you have also promised updates in the future? There's absolutely no way. But tell me, what are the factors that influence customer perception, of the value of an LTD, right? Is it pure money, or do they want a dupe of a popular product? So is it purely price ki, it's price laden, is it value laden, is it feature laden? What's been your experience?
So price is one of the number one concerns in LTD, 100%.
Right.
But if you, so that's why each LTD should always have a small plan around starting at around $30 to $70. This is the sweet price bracket.
Okay.
That's why many people price their LTDs around $49. And some
Right.
people want to grab it. So they're like, fine, we are happy with taking $10 less. So they price it around,
Right.
instead of pricing at 49, they price it around 39. Some people even play with 29. And if it's not selling, some people even do it
Right.
19, etc. They keep doing all this kind of stuff. So,
Oh,
but a sweet spot is between
right.
30 and between 29 and 70, 69. Yeah. That's the sweet spot. You should 100% have a plan around this price segment. If not, then many people will be like, I won't even look at it because it's not in my budget. So that is the first sweet price bracket that you gotta be in. Very first thing.
The other question was about what are the factors that influence customer perception?
All
Is it
right.
price only, or yeah, how do customers look at an LTD? Take me through, the eyes of an LTD customer when they are looking at something like this, right?
Okay. Let's
What
say
is it that triggers the idea of value?
let's say an LTD just comes up on AppSumo right now, and this
Right.
excited LTD customer who's addicted to buying LTDs is looking at your thing. And LTDs is mainly
Right.
bought by three set of audience, which is freelancers, agency owners, and small business owners.
Okay.
Mainly, it's around agency owners and freelancers. These are the two of your main audience. Now, if
Okay.
you release any tool related to agency owners or freelancers that can help them in their day-to-day work, 100% gonna be amazing. And if it's anything
Okay.
related to MarTech, the eyeballs you're gonna get is too fast. It's the word is gonna
Oh,
spread
really?
like wildfire. If it's a design, if it's a normal tool versus a MarTech related tool, I can guarantee 2x more sales immediately if he came to me. Immediately,
Oh,
because
really?
yeah, because MarTech has that, because freelancers and agency owners are always looking for tools that can make them money. And MarTech is the kind of niche
Wow.
that makes them money. So MarTech tools, I'll give you examples of MarTech tools: funnel builders, landing page
Yeah.
builders, fast AI website builders, anything that adds to WordPress.
Got it.
Or you can go with
Got
sales
it.
tools like cold email tools. That's the reason why
Right.
Lemlist is here today. Lemlist is a successful company because,
Right.
yeah, they went the LTD route. That's exactly what it is. So they see that
But
tool. They obviously want to save. If there's an alternative to a certain tool that they have, let's say HubSpot, which is costing
right.
$200 for them, and if you can provide it for $100 lifetime,
Right.
albeit only 2 or 3 accounts, let's say, instead of adding unlimited accounts, pretty high chance you
Right.
can pull it off, and pretty high chance they'll be interested in you because you're positioning as the alternative to a big Goliath.
Got it. So it's got to be somewhat value driven, where you're offering features that other bigger Goliaths are offering. It's also got to be, this customer is likely also price sensitive, which is why they are not going to a buffer. They're coming to, other alternatives. Like, let's say, if in the case of social media scheduling tools, right? From the founder's perspective, how do you price an LTD in that 29 to, let's say, 79 or $99 range, in a way that you don't leave money on the table? How do you decide on the exact amount?
Firstly, you go to these marketplaces like AppSumo, PitchGround, etc., many.
Okay.
AppSumo will immediately ask you a 60% cut on the price.
Okay.
So let's say you want to
Fair.
launch your LTD for $30 or $50, let's say. Among $50, you can say 30% is how much? So let's take $100, for example. $100, almost $70 goes to AppSumo, or $60
Right.
goes to AppSumo, and you only
Right.
get $40 from the sale. In return, AppSumo is promising you. Why is AppSumo taking that much cut? 60-40 or 70-40 in some cases. Is that AppSumo says, I have 1 million users in my email list. I have a
Right.
zillion customers. You can see Lemlist, you can see MailChimp, you can see Zapier. These are all, we have launched them on lifetime deal. Now, if you want to make your tool like
Right.
that, and if you want free marketing from our side, where we will only run Facebook ads for you, we will only make videos on your product, etc. You just have to provide us with the assets
Right.
and everything. We are only taking all the
Right.
headache. You just have to be there and be communicative. That's it. We are doing all the marketing.
Yeah.
Now, since we are spending on ads, we are doing all the stuff. It's fair that, and we are also sending to our email list. It's fair that you give us 60%. So that's why AppSumo takes in 60%. So keeping that in mind, now you have to price it. Now it gets even more challenging. You have to satisfy the LTD customer.
Yeah.
You have to satisfy yourself as well. In between, AppSumo is just coming and just taking the cut. Now it's tricky. You're only getting $30 on $100. You're only getting $40 on $100. So now think, Now with this customer is there with you for life, expecting updates, expecting all that. In the short run, it's a dopamine hit. Great, $100 you will easily get. AppSumo will easily give you, if your tool is really good, 100 plus customers just like that, and you just made $10,000 in a month. Immediately, that's the dopamine hit. $10,000. If you sell for how much? 100 people, right? With a million customers, of course, you can easily expect the bare minimum is 100 people buying. Of course, it will take a month or 2 months, but people will buy. Since there are so many tools on AppSumo, it's like a mall now. People have to come to your shop. If you think of it that way, you will get that short-term money, but can you sustain these customers long-term? Can you provide them updates?
That's the question.
And tomorrow, if you're not providing them updates, what is the measure that you're going to take to reach out to them and tell them that you tried your best? That, okay, you explored every other way, and make them believe that you explored every other way, or else they'll just simply straight out call you scam. Because you promised XYZ, you didn't deliver on your promise. That's it. So that's LTD.
Have you seen examples of SaaS founders where, the startup has shut down, the LTD has to sort of come to an end, but the company dealt it in a way where users sort of forgave them? Have you seen such examples, and how did the company behave? What can founders learn?
Yes, I've seen such examples. They keep coming all the time. One popular is on the AI tool only. It's called Phrase. Yes, it's called Phrase. One of the leading AI tools, you can say, in terms of SEO writing and all that. What happened was, one guy did a scam. What happened? I'll tell you, very tricky. Your LTD founders must really take note of this. Because if a company like Phrase can go through this, your company will 100% go through it. Higher chance, you can say. In LTD, you are asked by the platform to generate these codes, coupon codes, that give a lifetime plan to the user. So at the background, your devs are asked to work on a coupon code system, and also certain coupon codes that they can use in your system to get a special lifetime plan and not separate from the MRR plans. Now what happens is, Phrase's system had a bug in it. The bug was, you can use one code any number of times. Now think of it. One guy just took the code, he started reselling the code everywhere. Because Phrase LTD got over. There's a LTD reselling market as well. People resell their LTDs. They think of it as an investment, right? Now Phrase LTD got over, but many people were just still signing up. Because this guy was keep on selling the same LTD code. This guy made around $100,000 just by selling the LTD codes. Phrase didn't make any money. This guy made money because of the Phrase's bug. Imagine that. Now Phrase obviously had to come in. Now, if this issued a blanket statement, you guys got scammed by some other guy, you guys didn't deal with me. Now you are facing a backlash, of course. Because that guy is obviously gone underground. His name was Andrew, by the way. He's gone underground. I don't know if it was real name or fake name. But he's gone underground, and now you're like, oh no. If I paid $200 for this Phrase LTD, and then now Phrase is just shutting my account. Phrase can legally shut it because you got something from someone. But on the other hand, they can blame you saying that your system had this bug. I didn't know.
True.
So Phrase did a very nice thing. They're like, okay, fine, you can keep your LTD accounts, but as you know, this is a loss for us, and we cannot sustain like this. I want you guys to understand that I'll have to ask you a small fee. I'm with this small fee of $18 a month. I'll give you extra features, and these extra features will be worth those $18. I'm not just collecting $18 just for the loss someone did. I'll give you extra features on top of your regular plans. And I'm
Okay.
willing, it's a very nice, polite message that was sent out, and people gave. People loved Phrase so much that Phrase generated an MRR again of thousands of dollars by just collecting this $18 thing from these people. So that's exactly what happened with Phrase. So ultimately, you have to communicate well. LTD
Right.
users will make you angry. They will ask you questions that will
Right.
make you uncomfortable. At that time,
Right.
that's where your test lies. Whether you're cool, composed, and are able to be empathetic with these LTD users, or you can say, you're being toxic. I don't want you as a customer. We have that urge to say that. And people
Yeah.
who said that, screenshot is being taken, spread across all communities. This founder, SaaS founder, did that. Beware. That's it. Now, entire LTD sales is gone. Just because what you told to some random customer on chat, on call, some random day when your mood was down. Lot of things to
Right.
keep in mind.
Lots of things to keep in mind, and this is the best time then to move into the LTD versus MRR conversation. So how can early stage founders strike a balance between offering LTDs and maintaining a healthy MRR business for themselves?
So what happens is, some tools, they have, every LTD should have a community. It's considered a red
Right.
flag if you don't have a community for your around your product. If you have certain MRR customers, now you are in a battle. I have to market my LTD, but I don't have to market it too much that it reaches my MRR customers and they try to buy my LTD. That's always a
Right.
struggle. So that's when you kind of ask your LTD users not to talk about MRR. Yes, I've seen founders are requesting
Oh, really?
LTD users to not talk anything about LTD around their MRR customers.
Oh wow! Oh wow! That sounds like okay. Does that help? Just telling people, hey, don't talk about this product you are happy about.
Sometimes it does. If you're personally reaching out to these customers and all that, sometimes it definitely does. And sometimes this SaaS and etc. itself tell these customers not to talk about LTD to among their MRR community and all that. That is, founders usually try to balance it this way. Some people are like, okay, fine, with LTD we'll only give certain features and certain these things that won't harm MRR customers. Depends on the tool. We cannot fully say it, what exactly is going on and all that. Some people go all in on LTD in the start itself. It's like, fine, I'm going to start with LTD. I'm going to build that momentum on top. I'm going to offer the best discount possible. Done. But once or twice I'll do these LTD campaigns in AppSumo, one other, two other platforms. That's it. I'll just end it. Later on, I'll never do MRR. I think that's a very good strategy, if you can say, if you can consider. Rather than trying to hide, trying to play this game of hide and seek. Of course, you can play, but
Yeah.
there's a high chance you can get caught.
Yeah, because in today's day and age, bro, is it even possible to hide? Because I think if there are screenshots of one founder that can reach 100,000 people via Facebook or a Telegram or even a WhatsApp or something else, like what chances are it that this is possible?
Not just that. What happens is, when someone searches the name of your tool on Google, your website will obviously come to the first.
Right.
But the second, third, fourth, fifth
Yes.
are all different LTD platforms and LTD affiliates.
Right.
Affiliates of these
Right.
LTD platforms. They also have their own sites. So you're not
Right.
just going to AppSumo.
Right.
You're going to many other sumos who these people are affiliate of. So tomorrow, if the LTD is also over,
Right.
you might request AppSumo to take it down. I don't know AppSumo
Right.
takes it down or not. Usually they do. But you cannot reach out to 100 other affiliates, 1,000 other affiliates who've made their posts, because AppSumo is paying them commission as well, right? So you cannot take those posts down. Now again, you have to be on top of your SEO game to hide that stuff.
The more I think about LTD, it seems like, there was this girl that you met at a party and you were like really hooked onto her and you were like, yes, I just want to be with her. And then you later realize that she's married and now you've got to hide the affair. You had a one night stand, you've got to hide the affair. So on one hand, you really were chasing behind, the girl, which in this case is the LTD revenue. You got it, and now you've got to hide it. Do you think LTD, or at least an expired LTD, leaves a negative impression in the minds of MRR users that, hey, had I come to this company 6 months back, maybe I could have gotten this thing cheap. Now they're selling the same thing to me at $39 a month. I could have clinched it off at $49 for the LTD. Does that have a negative recall?
When your marketing is good, this thing won't matter. When you have a good
Okay.
marketing team which can handle and you're delivering good value with your product, this shouldn't really matter. But you're struggling to get that
Okay.
customer, the next
Right.
customer, MRR. Now, what happens is LTD user
Right.
knows it. He'll be like, dude, I know you don't have any customers. It's been just 3 months since your LTD is over. Just give me that LTD. Fine, I'll give you $200. I'll pay you extra than AppSumo. Just give me that $200, Give it to me for $200. And you are on the crunch again.
Right.
I have to pay salaries. I have to
Right.
don't have anything else. If you're in this scenario, of course it will hurt you because everyone will then try to get the LTD from you by hook or by crook. But once you have a healthy MRR,
Right, and these
once
people
your
are very
marketing
vocal,
team is
right?
good, yeah. Once you have a good marketing team, you can then confidently say, yeah, we had did a lifetime deal. It was like a small promotion that happened 1 year back. But right now, we don't offer that kind of deal anymore. It was for our initial first users. You can call them beta users and etc. I can tell them that this was the initial marketing campaign that we did. That is never coming back. You can be that confident when
Right.
you have a good marketing team and good MRR flowing up. But you cannot be that confident if you're solely dependent on your micro SaaS, if you don't have anything else to back it up, etc. So that is what it is. It happens. I sometimes reach out. I myself
Right.
sometimes reach out to some companies saying, dude, it's Black Friday time. I know you're also looking for Black Friday campaigns. Just give it to me.
The more we speak about it, this just you remember that iconic line "Deti hai kya?" This just has the same. Just give it to me. Just give it to me for $9. You have
Yeah.
you. I this just the more we talk about it, the more I am starting to realize the depth of how much LTD can be a double-edged sword. It can ensure that your startup flies, and it can ensure that you are ruined on LinkedIn and your reputation. If you go back to a job and of course they are, let's say you tried to build micro SaaS and you were not able to, and for whatever reason you closed it down in 6 months because you found a high paying job, and you're going back to that job, and imagine the HR team doing a background check, and all of this gunk comes up on your LinkedIn and Facebook. No well-respecting company would even want to hire you, saying, "Hey, who's this guy?" Right? So it just appears to me that when people go into the LTD business, they are not quite sure about what they are signing up for. So I think as long as they are able to price their LTD well, and they know absolutely well who that they want as these alpha customers, I think they should be sorted. But what role does audience targeting play in the success of LTD, and can you do any amount of targeting at all? Because once you give it to, let's say, generally these are like very small teams, right? Very small companies. They will not have the marketing muscle that an AppSumo has, right? So it's pretty much that you're paying 70% to an AppSumo or a SaaSzilla or in one of these companies to do the deed for you, which is the marketing bit, right? So if you don't have a solid marketing team, how can you even ensure at any level that you have any bit of audience targeting when you're trying to promote your LTD?
You have to be very careful with your LTD. While your LTD campaign is running, you have to be very careful with your words. One founder casually said, it's
Got it.
my side project. That's it.
Oh,
That's it. Everyone was like, it's a side project. He'll abandon it. Don't buy the LTD.
Fun.
Yeah. So you have to be very, just this one line. You didn't swear, you didn't do anything. You just casually said, yeah, it's my side project. I have income coming from other sources. Now it's like, okay. Okay, this founder is not serious.
Right.
And people, LTD users are like, okay, this is not going to be the next Zapier because it's a side project. Yeah. So it's like that. So you have to be very careful that way. And regarding audience segmenting, as I said, freelancers and agency owners is the number one audience that you're going to get on LTD. The third
Right.
amount of audience is basically content marketers and professionals and hobbyists, very less numbers, etc. This is the kind of consultants maybe who is consulting companies to reduce their costs. They usually come
Got
under
it.
the freelancer segment. So this is exactly what is happening. This is exactly the audience segment that you're getting with an LTD.
Got-
So one example was there was a customer success tool that launched on an LTD. I personally worked on the campaign. They were getting amazing feature requests, amazing feedback. They were working on those feedback also. But then a customer success tool has to be used by a customer success professionals and
Right.
people who are in customer success roles or customer support
True.
roles, not marketers or agency owners. Now,
Right,
marketers are
right.
doing a completely different feature request altogether. Like your tool is about getting that collecting, what do you call that, NPS surveys, right? Your marketer is
Right.
asking a form tool. Now your marketer is trying to give feature requests that will ultimately make you compete with Google Forms or any other form tools, which doesn't make any sense. You think you're getting a lot of feedback and etc., but your whole product direction is changing. Now you have to ask yourself,
Right.
okay, do I want to go in this direction or should I just stay true and refund all my LTD users or whatever it is? That's what you got to think again. So you that's why I'm focusing that these are your audience. If you want a
Right.
customer success professional, no,
Right.
that will be a
Right.
very small LTD. You'll hardly make $500 to $1,000 and you'll shut your LTD. That's exactly what's going to happen if your tool is just
Right.
targeting customer success audience. Yeah, but if your tool is targeting freelancers, agency owners, these WordPress guys, it
Right.
will work well. Yeah.
You speaking about refunding customers, and that led me on to think, what are the 5 most common fuck ups that you've seen LTD founders do? We spoke about a couple, so let's keep those separate at least, right? One is they say things that they don't mean, right? All future updates included, things of that sort, right? Number one. Number two is you have misspoken, right? So things like, this is my side project, I'm just moonlighting about this, right? So that's number two, let's say. Number three is you don't have an MRR, a roadmap for MRR, and you make that very apparent to LTD users. So that's number three. But if you keep these three things aside, what are the next 5 big fuck ups you've seen LTD startups do?
I think customer support has to be the number one thing. Why? Because when you launch an LTD and by chance it's getting successful, it's getting all the hype, hire 3 or 4 people on a contract basis at least. Why? Because
Got
they are
it.
judging you based on the speed of your customer support reply. And they have 100 different questions about your LTD. What am I getting for $49? Even after you mention it clearly on the landing page, they will come
Yeah.
back to you. They will ask you 100 different questions in 100 different ways. First thing is you have to prepare this extensive doc, a single source of truth document that is shared among your internally, because your team might be contacted elsewhere. First thing is they don't do all this. They don't have any customer support. They are themselves there solo, ride or die.
Right.
They get 150 queries on the day one. Now you're like, okay, I don't know what to do. Now you can reply it over the days, and usually when customer conversation is happening, it's a chain.
Right.
It's like a chat. It's not like you replied and you
Right.
close the ticket. It just keeps going on.
True.
Now you alone cannot talk to 150
Right.
people like that until your campaign ends. Tomorrow another 50 people came in.
True.
Day after tomorrow another 50 people
True.
ask you different questions. Fourth day, if you didn't clear your first day's this thing, the guy will be like, these guys are extremely slow in their customer support. It's been 4
Right.
days, I haven't gotten a response.
Right.
That is a red flag, seen as a red flag. Okay, he's a
Right.
solo guy. That means he's treating it as a side hustle thing. He doesn't care about customers. It just spreads everywhere. It just goes on spreading now. Different people
Why?
take it in a different way. So customer support,
Why?
that's one thing. Second thing is devs on contract. LTD users will have features. Some features are extremely deal-breaking features, and they're very genuine features. I'll give you an example. Let's say you're launching an alternative to Shopify. Let's say your LTD attracted many Indian users, but you only have PayPal and Stripe. This Indian guy, although he's interested in the amazing features that you've built, amazing UI that you have done. UI is very important in LTD. You don't have Razorpay.
Right.
You don't have, which is used in India, which is the most popular payment gateway in India, or you don't have InstaMojo. Now you should have a dev or some sort of support saying that Razorpay is coming. Now this
Right.
guy obviously won't take you on your word. You should deliver it before your LTD campaign ends. Now when you do that, now you can go forward and be like, yeah, see, I promised Razorpay, I've delivered Razorpay integration. Now tell me what is the issue with the startup. This guy is like, now obviously he's going to make the purchase because his only deal breaker was the Razorpay or InstaMojo or no Indian payment gateway. And Indians use Indian payment gateways. They don't use PayPal, Stripe or anything else. Simple.
Yeah.
So such kind of deal breakers, you need a dev support to fulfill it. Because you as a founder, you're doing customer support. You're also handling front, talking to your customers. Behind the scenes is
Right.
customer support. Again, you're internally managing your team. Then there is this dev requests that keep on coming. And these features are very small features. Delivering an integration.
Yeah.
is not even a big task,
Yeah.
big of an ask. And now you're at that point where you can get all frustrated with all this going around you. Yes, one it's a good problem to
Ah.
have because you're getting so many customers, so many people are asking about your tool. Good stuff. But again, you need to have these devs or customer support things on standby. Brings me to my next mistake is bad UI. Launching with a bad UI. If your UI is bad, if your website has certain pages that don't work, if your landing page or any other pages have spelling mistakes, or your app crashes,
Oh.
even with smaller things, especially UI,
Right.
even if you remove all this, UI is very important. It's crucial. Immediately, when you show a good UI,
Mm.
it's like it adds like an advertising thing. A good UI is a good feature. Even if you have less features, a good UI will subside that. But they'll get more trust on you immediately. Oh, the founder is putting so much attention to detail. I love the UI. I just want to use the tool even more. Your
Yeah.
conversations will be around these kind of topics.
I remember feeling this way. I bought an LTD of this CRM tool called Breakcold, and it was a CRM tool specifically for LinkedIn and like B2B audiences. And I was just besotted. I have not used that LTD, by the way, but I was just so besotted by the UI. I was like, boss, this does not look like an like an LTD. I've got to buy it. I just bought it for the UI probably.
That's there. For example, I'm so used to Canva. Now you launch Canva alternative. Obviously, I
Yeah.
expect you to have more features, more templates, better UI and all that. Or else I cannot use your tool. I know
Yeah.
Canva is a very important part of my life. But
Of
100% I'm
course.
looking for an LTD. Now if you cannot, if I search for carousel and you're only giving me 5 templates, now I'm like, boss, I can just go pay extra money
Yeah.
and use Canva because at least
Yeah.
I'm getting thousands of templates. So
Yeah.
that is what is the play over there. UI again, good UI also. If you're clicking
Mm-hmm.
something and something else is getting clicked or etc. things are happening, it won't really work. That's a one thing. Another thing is no matter there are many. I can just go on. Another thing is another hack is you can just go forward and say I permit reselling of my LTDs.
Is that not perceived to be like by the default?
Many founders say, they clearly say it, we will
Oh.
ban anyone who's found reselling. But when there's that air around, you as a founder shining, go forward and say, I don't care. You resell or do whatever. We completely support reselling of LTDs. That's it. It's a pattern interrupt. Now all the attention is on you. Yeah, all the attention is on you. It's like saying you cannot prevent piracy.
Yeah, you can't. Of course, you can't.
That's what it is. And you cannot prevent reselling of LTDs. That guy will simply say, I have to change my email. I'm no
Yeah.
longer using my old email. I have to change it. At that
Yeah.
time, you cannot go and say, and again, they'll bring in GDPR into place. GDPR will
You
ask you to
can't.
change it. So rather than
Yeah.
going through all this, just say, just be the hero already by saying that. That's a very quick hack. Many people don't do. They think, oh, they don't go all in with LTD. They think they go
Yeah. I
slowly,
think.
step by step. Then like go all in. When you're trying to go do LTD, just go all in, or just
Yeah.
don't do it. Don't try to create some sort of a thing and then offer features, etc. See what you can offer already, and add one extra
Yeah.
feature on top of it, and then offer.
Yeah.
People will 100% see the value in. So yeah, these are
Nice.
some of
Nice.
the mistakes. Yeah.
I think the bonus one that I'd like to add is if redeeming my LTD is a challenge, there have been so many times when AppSumo has generated a code and it's taken me to the special landing page on the LTD apps sort of brand page, and then I'm putting in the code and it's not working. There's a very big red flag, and now it is like I've made the purchase and now I'm calling for a refund. Right? Like that is the worst. It's like, people say card drop offs. Here you have made a purchase and then somebody is calling it back. So I think there have been so many cases with LTDs for me personally where the redemption criteria, the redemption mechanism is so fucked up, people just want to leave, right? If I'm a SaaS founder and I am launching an LTD campaign, what are the metrics that I should be tracking?
You'll look at your refunds and you will be like, oh my god, the refund rate is too high. That's
Okay.
because AppSumo
Refund rate.
gives you a 60-day refund to AppSumo promises a 60-day refund. So if you do it in
Right.
the 59th day, AppSumo
Right.
will give the refund to the user. Other metrics to track is basically LTD sales, nothing else. Never expect an LTD customer to convert into an MRR customer. Many founders do have that. Abhi LTD mein le lenge, we will do MRR kar lenge after a few months. No way, that's not happening. That's definitely not happening. Not happening at all in your life. No way. That is impossible.
But this, you speaking about a very special situation with, let's say, Twitter. That's like once in a lifetime sort of events that these sorts of things happen. But let's say if I am not able to sustain my LTD, I promised, let's say, is there a way that an LTD founder can say, boss, I maybe mispriced this. My monthly cost of giving something to you, the value is $39. I've charged you $49. There's no way that I can give you this and still run a service. So the best thing for you is maybe I'll get you a discounted MRR. Is something like that, like striking a bargain, or is it like ride or die with LTD users through and through? What's your experience been?
The moment you say discounted MRR, they're done. It's like a fight. LTD users call it weekend drama. And if it's happening during the weekday, they'll be like, oh, weekend drama came early. Just search for weekend drama and LTD on Facebook or anywhere else. You will find. It is a true term that they do. Yeah. So when you think of it like that, yes, there will be flack. There will be this kind of things. They'll be like, okay, why didn't you calculate this? You never calculated it while taking money from us. Now what is happening?
Yeah.
They will do all sorts of things like that. It's tricky to navigate it.
This seems like a very tricky proposition. Like you are then onboarding a lot of these influencer-ish people for maybe even something that as an early stage founder you're likely to make these sorts of mistakes, pricing mistakes, and some of these mistakes can cost you dearly. So it's not all fun and games. There's definitely a lot to be said about having a strategy in place for the long term, right?
Agreed. And during the start of your LTD campaign, affiliates will reach out to you saying that we're going to do our own promotions.
Right.
Give me 10 LTD codes that I want to give away to my audience. Now you give it to 15, 20 affiliates.
Right.
Now you have given away 200 LTD codes. Now these are LTD users that you have just giving away. And ultimately, this is one of the part of the plan. This is part of the plan to do the giveaways. You have to. So it's like you go all in on LTD or you don't.
Yeah.
If you go all in, of course. Yeah. If you go all in, of course you have to do the giveaway. Yeah. It's like very simple. I will tell you, you will conduct a webinar where you will sell your LTD. Now, why will someone come to a sales webinar, an advertisement, to watch you talk about your LTD, the good things about your LTD, your company, etc. When you say, I'm going to give the top tier plan, 3 codes as giveaway live during the webinar to the most engaging users ever. That's it. People are like, I'm getting $600. Yeah, just by being active. That's another way. Lot of ways we promoted LTDs. This was me doing a lot of things, getting people into the webinars, keeping them engaged till the end. I've done a lot of these kind of things in LTD world. That's why it's like fun.
I think guys, if you really want to know more about innovative ways that you could be promoting LTDs, I think that this one deserves another episode. So just leave it in the comments that you've got to bring Meenank Minnu for a 3rd episode of Thrifty Titans, and we'll watch out for your comments on that one. If you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you can just leave a comment regardless. Thank you so much for doing this, Meenank. I really appreciated having you on for the 2nd time, bro.
I'm glad. Thank you so much for having me.
Lovely. Guys, and with that, it's a wrap. Thank you so much for tuning in, and do tune in next week for the next episode of the Thrifty Titans podcast. See ya.